This semester, we researched orphan tree kangaroos. Our research was triggered by an orphan tree kangaroo, Bentley, exhibiting odd and aggressive behaviors that we think has something to do with the way he was rescued. We observed Bentley at Lumholtz Lodge, where other tree kangaroos were raised, like Kimberly and Annalie. We compared the behavior to Bentley's and collected information from their caretakers about how these animals behaved.
We asked tree kangaroo caretakers and twins, Margaret Cianelli and Karin Semler, to rate 4 tree kangaroos they've rehabilitated in the past on behavioral scales from 1 to 5. In terms of aggression, Bentley, shown here as TK1, scored the highest by far of all 4 tree kangaroos rated. He often bites his caretaker and becomes aggressive without being provoked. Bentley also scored the highest on the anxiety scale, scoring a 5 where all others scored a 1. He's frightened by many sounds, like chicken clucking, the faucet running, and shoes on gravel, and tends to panic at things past tree kangaroos wouldn't have minded.
We identified that Bentley does in fact show more abnormal behavior than the other tree kangaroos studied. We can see that he chews less, especially around people, and he forward scoots, which is an inefficient, immature climbing technique, just as much as Annalie, who was significantly younger than him. He hardly grooms around people, and he's the only one to exhibit ground foraging or wobbling, which is a panic attack we characterize by the shaking of his head. These behaviors all signify increased stress and insecurity in Bentley. We think his insecurity stems from his rescue. Instead of being wrapped up in anything, he was held in bare human hands for over an hour. Even though this was very traumatic, Kimberly had what we think was a more traumatic experience. She fell out of a tree into water and was abandoned by her mother before being rescued. Because she did so much better than Bentley in rehabilitation, we conclude that the personality of a tree kangaroo also plays a role in their well-being after rescue.
Here in the Atherton tablelands, Lumholtz tree kangaroos are often killed by cars. Karin tells us the easiest way to make a difference is by slowing down.
Crossing the road is where they get killed. Main thing is for everybody to slow down, because that's where we all can help, and that sort of concerns all of us. But then also, if that could be enforced a little bit, like the speed limits put down as much as possible.
Correct rescue techniques are vital to help decrease the amount of adverse behaviors some orphans exhibit later in life, which could help ensure that one day they are fit enough to be fully rehabilitated and go back into the wild and help keep their population strong.
So, I've just hit and/or seen a marsupial on the side of the road. First, let's safely pull over and then put on a high visibility jacket, which you should keep in a wildlife rescue box. We are going to carefully approach the animal, and if it has unfortunately passed, we are going to carefully check the pouch and see if there's a baby inside. If the baby is small and pink and its mouth is still fused to the teat, we're either 1, going to bring the entire mother's body with us and gently put it in the car, or if you have the stomach for it, get a sharp knife and carefully cut around the teat and put the newborn baby into a artificial pouch or the front of your shirt. Or if the animal is big enough, like this guy, where he's fluffy, his eyes are open, and maybe he's already left the pouch, what you can do is you can create an artificial pouch environment in your own t-shirt by putting down the front of your shirt where it's nice and warm. Or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, in your animal rescue box, you can keep an artificial pouch, a piece of cloth or towel, and then gently put the animal inside of the pouch until he can be transported to the local wildlife rehabilitators.
And if you're feeling inspired, Karin tells us wildlife rehabilitation is something everyone can be a part of.
He just opened the door by himself, my tree kangaroo boy, whom I had for 7 years, and I'm still very sad that it wasn't double that age, because it could have easily, hopefully, been, but he got killed on the road by someone who was in a hurry. And but then having him come home and telling me all those stories, you could just see what he was up to. You could just imagine it. And it was an almighty privilege to have a wild animal choose you to share his life with. That was just the best thing that ever happened to me.
Thank you for taking the time to learn with us today. With your help, Lumholtz tree kangaroos in the Atherton tablelands can thrive.